Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I call this meeting of the Planning and Economic Development Committee for Tuesday, January the 10th, 2023 to order. First item will be, Madam Clerk, to roll call. It's by button, remember. You press yes if you're here and no if you're not, right?
Sorry, do it again. Hit your.
Oh,
Councillor Kerr, can you push your button again, please?
Councillor Kerr, push your button again. Yeah, you have to hold it, I think. We good? Okay, and I know we have Councillor Dyes online with us. And Mayor Collier's online. He voted here as the system works. That's great. Any declarations of interest, members of committee? Seeing none. Could I have a motion to adopt the minutes of our meeting of December 6, 2022? Councillor Neal, seconded by Councillor Shayed. Any comments, questions, or otherwise? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. We now have a statutory public meeting. This is a public meeting on a recently submitted regional official plan amendment. The purpose of the public meeting is to provide background information to members of the Planning and Economic Committee. Is it the same one? Oh, sorry, wrong one. This portion of the meeting constitutes the statutory public information meeting under the Planning Act for the proposed amendment to the Durham Regional Official Plan submitted by 2648870 Ontario Inc. to permit a resort development in the hamlet of Port Bolster, Township of Brock. Notice of the public meeting was advertised in the Brock Citizen and Georgina Advocate newspapers, and a notice was mailed to landowners and residents within 120 meters of the subject property. It is important that those who may have an interest in this matter make a submission prior to Regional Council making a decision. As a reminder, any person may make written submissions at any time before Regional Council makes their decision. Anyone wishing to be notified of future meetings of the Planning and Economic Development Committee at which the proposed amendment will be considered, or to be notified of Regional Council's decision on the subject amendment, must submit a written request to the Commissioner of Planning and Economic Development. We'll first have a staff presentation by Lori Riviere Duersem. She's there, ready to go. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of committee, and members of the public. A regional official plan amendment application was submitted by Photon Consultants on behalf of 2648870 Ontario Inc. to permit the development of a 46-unit resort in the hamlet of Port Bolster in the Township of Brock. Next slide, please. Perfect. The subject property, shown in yellow, is located at 23801 Thorough Park Boulevard. The site is approximately 3.6 hectares in size. It is occupied by a small brick structure and the rest of the site is vacant. The proposed development includes a water parcel to facilitate a private water supply from the lake, Simcoe, and the water parcel is located in the town of Georgina. In terms of surrounding land uses, this includes Port Bolster Park to the north, as well as shoreline residential developments. The town of Georgina is to the west, with shoreline residential developments, a woodlot, and Lake Simcoe. To the south is Lake Ridge Road, the active Canadian National Railway, and rural residential. And to the east is the railway, Lake Ridge Road, residential, and agricultural land. Next slide, please. The concept plan is shown in attachment 2 to the staff report. It illustrates the location of 3-story resort, villas, and proposed septic system. Access to the site would be from Thorough Park Boulevard, which is a local road. Next slide, please. In support of the application, the applicant has submitted a number of technical studies. This includes a planning justification report, remediation report, natural heritage evaluation, transportation impact study, hydrogeological assessment, noise and vibration report, and functional servicing and stormwater management report. A number of provincial planning documents apply to the site, including the provincial policy statement, the growth plan, the Greenbelt plan, and the Lake Simcoe Protection Plan. The provincial policy statement promotes the development of healthy and livable and safe communities. The PPS goes on to state that in rural areas, rural settlement areas should be the focus of development and growth, and that healthy rural settlement areas should build upon the rural character of the area. The PPS also states that the diversity and connectivity of natural features in an area and long-term biodiversity of natural heritage systems should be maintained or restored. The growth plan states that growth will be limited in settlement areas that are rural settlements that are not serviced by municipal water or wastewater systems or are located in the Greenbelt plan area. The growth plan also states that municipalities are encouraged to plan for a variety of cultural and economic opportunities within rural settlements to serve the needs of rural residents and area businesses. The Greenbelt plan states that hamlets are subject to the policies of the growth plan and continue to be governed by official plans. Limited growth is permitted through infill and intensification of hamlets, subject to appropriate water and wastewater systems. The policies of the Lake Simcoe Protection Plan speak to the need for a stormwater management report and minimizing and mitigating the impacts of stormwater runoff on receiving bodies of water. The subject site is designated hamlet in the regional official plan. In accordance with policy 9B23, hamlets shall be developed in harmony with surrounding uses and may consist of the following: predominantly single detached housing as well as community facilities, employment uses, and commercial uses that meet the needs of the residents of the hamlets and the surrounding rural areas. In terms of consultation, this application has been circulated to the relevant agencies and departments for review and comment. A public notice was advertised in the Brock Citizen and Georgina Advocate, and a notice was mailed to landowners within 120 meters of the subject property. To date, there have been questions and concerns raised by a number of residents regarding potential traffic impacts, access to the lake, and potential lighting impacts. I believe there are some residents here today with questions on the application. As well, the applicant is also available virtually to answer any questions. To conclude, this department will review the application and analyze the submitted studies and report back to committee with a recommendation once comments have been received from the circulated agencies. Next slide, please. Thank you, and this concludes my presentation, Mr. Chair. I'll be happy to answer any questions of the committee.
Thank you, Lori. Any questions on the presentation, members of the committee? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have Miles Weeks, Senior Planner of 410 Consultants, and Martin Schum, Architect, Schum Design and Architect, on behalf of 2648870 Ontario, Inc. Mr. Weeks? Mr. Weeks, ready?
There we go. Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So thank you to everyone in attendance today, as well as Lori for that presentation, giving a brief overview of the project. I'm joined today, as you mentioned, by Martin Schum, who is the next delegation. He's the architect on the file. I'll do my best to provide some details on the project and respond to some questions that have been provided so far. And if there's any further questions relating to the design or other matters that Martin might be best to speak to, I'm sure he's happy to speak. So with that, the presentation I've prepared covered off a lot of the items that Lori went over. So I may skip over some of the policy framework just so we can get to some of the more pressing questions that members of the public have submitted. So perhaps we could just skip through to slide, to slide 7. Perfect. Thank you very much. So we did review some of the questions that were submitted. We spoke with Lori, who provided us a bit of a summary in advance of this meeting. So I'll do my best to go over some of those items within the time we have. If there's extra questions at the end of my allotted time, I'll stick around, and I'm happy to answer any questions if needed. So some of the main questions received today relate to items such as traffic, servicing, protection of the environment, lighting generated by the sites, general site operations, and local opportunities that will be created by this project. So just starting off maybe with the general operations and some of the background on the project, we did want to share that the ownership group is comprised of a number of individuals, but the inspiration for this project was really drawn from one of the members of that ownership team who lives in the community. I don't know that it's appropriate to share their exact address, but they do live within 5-minute walking distance of the site. And as community members who are invested in the success and character of the surrounding area, the ownership group's vision is to contribute positively towards the community and establish strong relationships with neighbors. So to that end, this project is intended to really include partnerships with local businesses, farm-to-table food practices, and potential educational opportunities for youth and school groups. So in this way, the ownership group really wishes to help the community flourish for both present and future generations. In terms of economic opportunities, kind of speaking again to the benefit to the community, a number of job opportunities are anticipated, both short-term and long-term. And you know, the exact number of jobs aren't known at this time. We're quite early in both the planning process as well as the more detailed kind of operational logistics process. But we do anticipate jobs related to construction. So that would, of course, be more in the short term. But for long term, we would expect jobs for maintenance, gardening and groundskeeping, retail service, restaurant service, food preparation, educational jobs, depending on what kind of programming ultimately would be offered, and cleaning services as well. So a real diversity of opportunities that could be a benefit to local residents in the surrounding area. As far as the resort operation goes, it will be a year-round resort. The expected operation would be 50 weeks out of the year. So the remaining 2 weeks of the year would be closed for maintenance, and the exact timing of those maintenance activities, I couldn't say at this time. And as for daily hours of operation, I also can't speak to those at this time, again, just because we're at such an early stage in the planning process. I know one of the major questions related to lake access and impacts on the lake in general. So the resort has a water body, as Lori explained, and that's really just for drawing water from the lake for servicing purposes. However, in terms of guest access to the lake, there's no official relation with the resort. So any future guests or visitors that wanted to access the lake would be doing so over standard public access points that are municipally owned and operated, or maybe owned and operated by another regulatory body. I don't know the exact ownership details of the entire shoreline along Simcoe in this area, but it's possible it's the Conservation Authority as well. Regardless, it's not going to be controlled by the resort. So as I mentioned, the only real direct link between the lake and the resort would be for drawing water, and there is an existing easement on the property which gives legal right to draw that water, and that's a historic easement that's been established for quite some time. And as far as environmental impacts on the lake go, as Lori mentioned, there have been a number of technical studies that were prepared as part of the application process, and we have been going through ongoing and extensive consultation with both the region, the Township of Brock planning departments, and the LSRCA, the Lake Simcoe Region Conservation Authority. So, the intent is really to ensure that any potential impacts on the environment are mitigated and minimized to the extent that any impact would be of an acceptable level. Some of the features that we have include a 10-meter buffer from the tree drip line on the east side of the property, where there is a sensitive environmental feature. We also have a 15-meter buffer from the long-term stable top of slope, again on that eastern side of the property line, where there's a tributary to the Pefferlaw River. There's also a 30-meter buffer between the development and that tributary to the Pefferlaw River. And then finally, there's a 100-meter buffer between any water courses, whether it's the tributary to the east or Lake Simcoe. There's a 100-meter buffer between those water bodies and the proposed septic system, just to ensure that there's no underground seepage of any
Mr. Weeks,
septic runoff.
you're running out of time here.
Okay. I'll just let me know when I'm done. There's a lot of items to cover.
Actually, you're done.
I'm done. Okay, perfect. So I'm glad I got through what I did. I did provide written correspondence to go over some of these items in much more detail. So please feel free to refer to that or ask me any follow-up questions you may have. Thanks for your time today.
Questions from the committee? So I'd like to know, your slide had traffic at the top. Can you elaborate more
Yes.
on the traffic concerns that you got?
Absolutely. So the traffic related questions were fairly general. Generally, safety was a concern, safety for children, and also impacts on the soccer fields to the east. We share a property line with them. We have prepared a transportation impact study, which examines, the existing traffic flows in the area and examines the potential impacts of the traffic generated by this site on the number of vehicle trips that would be happening, that sort of thing. Our traffic engineer has found that the traffic to be generated by this project would be acceptable for the existing road network, so there wouldn't need to be necessarily any sort of widening or any significant road upgrades in that sense. As far as safety for pedestrians and cyclists go, obviously there's no real proper infrastructure along Thora Park Boulevard for pedestrians, in the form of sidewalks, and there's no kind of multi-use pathways at this time for cyclists. However, it's my understanding that the region does have a 2040 plan to improve cycling networks throughout the region. And so Thora Park Boulevard is included in those improvements. Now, obviously, that's not related necessarily to this project, but we can anticipate that in the coming years that those kind of infrastructure improvements would be coming along.
Thank you. Thank you. No, thank
okay.
you. You're getting into bicycles now. I was worried about the traffic complaints. You said you got some comments about traffic. You're sort of expanding your presentation now by telling us about all the bicycling and all that. So that's good for now. Thank you. Any questions of committee? Any further? No? Okay, Mr. Weeks. So Mr. Schum has a presentation as well?
I'll leave that to him to comment. I think he'll just provide any additional comments he may feel necessary.
Yes. Councillor Kerr? You need to push your request button so I can play with this new computer now.
There we go. It might have been helpful for me. I'm pretty much a visual learner largely, to actually see the map of the area. So when you start talking about roads and distances and impacts, so we can have something visual to see where it is you're talking about. So in this next presentation, if there's going to be more of the same, can we kindly have the map of the site up on the screen, please?
Okay. I don't think there is another presentation.
We could leave slide 2 of my presentation. You could leave that up for
Roger, can
for
you go
Martin
back to slide 2?
Yeah.
if he cares to speak to anything.
Thank you. That would be more helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now we're on to, is there any member of the public that wish to make a submission today? Seeing none, then we will move on. There are 2 items of correspondence related to this item. Could I have a motion to refer them to the report. Councillor Shied and seconded by Councillor Pickles. Any comments, questions? No. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. I need a motion now to receive the report. Councillor Shied, seconded by Councillor Neal. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. This concludes the public meeting. Thank you. We now move on to item number 5.1, presentations. Brandon Pickard, Manager of Tourism, and Stacy Jibb, Manager of Agriculture and Rural Economic Development. Re the Gates Open 2022. Find your flavor. Good morning. Go ahead when you're ready.
Chair and committee members. My name's Stacy Jibb and I'm the Manager of Agriculture and Rural Economic Development with Invest Durham. Today I'll be providing a brief overview of on-farm diversification along with the economic benefits and some of the projects and initiatives our team will be taking on this year to support the agri-food industry. I'll then pass it over to my colleague Brandon Pickard, who will provide an overview of the Gates Open 2022 event, which provides some homegrown, on-the-ground examples of on-farm diversification in the region of Durham. So, on-farm diversified uses, or OFDUs, as we'll refer to them throughout this presentation, are one of three categories of permitted uses in Ontario's prime agricultural areas. Examples of OFDUs include, but are not limited to, value-added uses such as a winery, a bakery, agritourism, and recreational uses. They can also include home occupations such as a bookkeeper or daycare, home industries such as a vehicle repair shop, retail services like a farm market, and a small cafe or restaurant. There are many broad economic benefits to supporting OFDUs for farms, communities, and from a tourism perspective. Some of them include additional income and job opportunities, which can be created on farm through new revenue sources, the preservation of agricultural land, buildings, and heritage. This is also an opportunity to revitalize local traditions and history in our communities. It strengthens the family farm and helps keep the family farm alive by providing new job opportunities for family members with a more diverse skill set. This helps to keep family members working on the farm rather than having to seek job opportunities elsewhere. It also provides tourism opportunities, which can benefit entire communities and other tourism businesses who see an influx of visitors to these OFDUs, and those visitors visit other businesses in the community. It's also an opportunity to provide agriculture education so people have more information and learn where their food comes from directly from farmers themselves. It's also an opportunity for cultural exchange for rural communities and urban communities both. In terms of current projects and next steps, our team is working with a municipal agriculture, economic development, and planning working group to help share information and resources specifically around OFDUs. Working with industry partners like Durham Farm Fresh to offer business workshops for businesses and farms who are looking to diversify their farm operations. We're also in the process of developing an OFDU business toolkit, which will provide just general information in a sort of phased way for businesses who may be looking to diversify their farm operations. We're going to be supporting the Durham Ag Advisory Committee to deliver Agriculture 101 training across the region, and of course, implementation of the Growing Agri-Food Durham Plan and the Local Food Business Retention and Expansion Action Plan. At this point, I will pass it over to Brandon Pickard to provide an overview of Gates Open.
Thank you, Stacy. Good morning, Chair and committee members. Durham Tourism, in partnership with the Durham Farm Fresh Marketing Association, we're pleased to bring back the Gates Open Find Your Flavor event on October 1st and 2nd in 2022, which was last held in 2019 and since placed on hiatus due to COVID-19. Gates Open is a free annual celebration of local farmers, producers, and creators right here in Durham region. Gates Open featured on-farm education, demonstrations, sampling, and so much more. It also served as a kickoff event to Ontario Agriculture Week in Durham region. The opportunity to become a host farm for Gates Open was offered to members of the Durham Farm Fresh Marketing Association by way of an application process. Farms were asked to highlight in their application the types of activities they could offer to visitors, experiences not normally offered during their day-to-day operations. 10 farms throughout the municipalities of Brock, Scugog, Uxbridge, and Clarington participated in the event. Visitors had the opportunity to take part in fun and educational activities, including live cider press demonstrations, dig your own potatoes, potato sack races, food sampling and cooking demonstrations, learning about grass-fed beef and rotational grazing, artist demonstrations, orchard tours, corn mazes, wagon rides, learning about wine production, milk and cheese production, paint your own pumpkins, and much more. Admission to Gates Open Find Your Flavor was free. In addition to financial support from the region of Durham and Durham Farm Fresh, this event was made possible with a $16,698 of funding from the Provincial Reconnect Grant. This program supports festivals and events that generate economic activity and motivate visitors to rediscover Ontario. As a result of this provincial funding, we were able to disperse funds directly to each participating farm in order to assist with their expenses for the weekend. According to visitation counts collected at participating farms, Gates Open Find Your Flavor welcomed approximately 2,500 guests over the course of the two-day weekend. The event provided an opportunity to showcase some of Durham's most incredible farms, and each farm demonstrated the passion and dedication they bring to farming and their commitment to local food. Guests were able to learn about life on a farm and experience fun, hands-on educational experiences. We will conclude our presentation with a brief video showcasing a sampling of some of the farms that participated. We thank you for your time this morning and look forward to answering any questions. You may just need to click on the middle there. Yes.
I see the jumping castles. I always wondered where they grew those. It's on a farm, is it? Okay, Councillor Sheehan, questions?
Yes, Chair, if possible. Thank you so much for the great presentation. I was reading the report and seems so cool to have something like this within Durham region, and I'm looking forward, fingers crossed, to attend. I saw that you had applied for a grant from the provincial grant for this, and I was wondering if there is a grant aligned for something in the future as well.
Perfect. Yes, thank you for the question. And through the chair, as we understand, the Ontario Reconnect Grant was kind of part of the Ontario's recovery plan. So there are still grants available from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Sport, whether it's in the Reconnect Grant and maybe back to Celebrate Ontario, but we'll continue to look at funding opportunities that we can apply to that supports agriculture type events in the region.
Thank you. Through you, Chair Chapman, I have a couple of more questions. So it will be in October 1st and 2nd period. And is it the same location as the last time?
Yes, thank you. Through the chair, the location will once again take place the first weekend in October is what we're tentatively planning for. Locations may differ. We hope that the farms that participated this year will return, and we also hope to attract new farms to get involved and participate.
And the idea could possibly be rotating all throughout Durham region to give more exposure, perhaps?
Yes, through the chair, absolutely. We'd love to have more farms right across the region, add more municipal farming businesses to our host location sites.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. How is the feedback? I believe they would love the exposure, but I'd like to hear it a little bit more in terms of a farmer's perspective.
Certainly, and through the chair, a lot of the feedback that we heard that weekend from some of the operators was they experienced a boost year over year comparative on the weekend. Even throughout the summer, some of the farms had experienced, with a largely restriction-free summer, a lot of events and regular programming and activities. Some of the farms actually experienced a bit of a decline in participation in some of their events and activities as a result of more things taking place. So they really enjoyed the collaborative marketing effort to encourage visitors to come out. And it was also nice that it was adjacent to Ontario Agriculture Week and alongside the harvest here in Durham Region.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I know that Durham College does their own farming and their ideas from farm to table. Are they some sort of an interest? Do they have some sort of an interest in it, or they are, uh, included in the conversation as well?
Yeah, so through the chair, I'll sort of provide a little bit of insight on that question. We do work really closely with Durham College and the Center for Food, as well as the sort of ongoing work with the Barrett Center. And I do believe they are members or associate members of Durham Farm Fresh. So through that avenue, they're definitely included in the conversation for Gates Open, as well as many of the other agriculture and local food related projects we work on.
That is fantastic. I'm looking forward to a year of 2023. Now, my last question through you, Chair. I see that there were 2,500 potential people that they were there. Do you see more people coming in and the venue to be bigger as well this year?
Certainly, thank you. Through the chair, yes, we reported the attendance numbers, and I think we were on the conservative side. We looked at some farms such as Nature's Bounty, which draws in hundreds, if not thousands, of visitors over the weekend. We were a bit conservative with ballot entries and not trying to over kind of compensate for our numbers, but we certainly see it as an opportunity to increase visitation from residents within Durham Region exploring the farms. I think in our stats we saw about 40% from Durham Region, about 30% GTA York Region, 20% from the Kawarthas, and then kind of the remainder from outbound. So certainly looking to grow visitation to those farms, and I think also adding a network of more farms also encourages visitation from other areas.
Thank you so much, I rest Chair, and really appreciate for the presentation.
Thank you. Councillor Pickles.
But thank you for the presentation, most enjoyable. Just a couple questions. I noted the communities or the farms from the communities that have participated. Had you had any interest or talked with any of the farms in Pickering, City of Pickering?
Yes, thank you. And through the chair, as part of the application process, we issue the call to farms through Durham Farm Fresh, and it goes out through that network. And this year we actually offered an incentive to provide a Durham Farm Fresh membership to farms that were not currently a member to participate. And the reason we do that, there's a couple of reasons, but logically, farms that are members of Durham Farm Fresh, they have an interest in marketing their products, being part of the local food kind of ecosystem and conversation. So we can coordinate adding farms through that partnership, and we certainly would love to see representation from farms across each municipality. And one of the other issues or kind of challenges or I guess opportunities during that time is there's a number of farms that also have ticketed events and regular activities taking place on that weekend. So Gates Open is kind of another tier of experience, those kind of free activities, and then we have Durham Farm Fresh members offering other on-farm activities.
Okay, thanks. And through you, Mr. Chair, you referenced family farms. Is it limited to family farms, family-run farms? Because some farms there are, farmlands owned by one individual, but a farmer farms it on a tenant basis, or you can have a large farm owner who's not necessarily a family farm. Is there a limiting factor there with respect to family farms, or
through
no?
the chair? No, there's no restrictions on
Okay.
how the farm is operated. We're just looking to offer a unique hands-on experience, their
Okay.
educational experience.
And are some of the farms on the green belt and some of the farms off the green belt?
I would think so.
Through the chair, I'm not sure exactly of the farms that participated who would be in the Greenbelt and who wouldn't be, but I would anticipate that I think a majority of them were in North Durham and Clarington. Is that right? So
Okay.
that gives you any insights. I'm not sure if they're exact locations.
I'm hoping I'm not going off topic, so the chair can reel me in if that's the case. But I'm familiar in speaking with a a farmer in Pickering who has land both inside the green belt and outside the green belt, and I was interested in the range of activities that were taking place. I think it was wine, maybe it was vinegar, I don't know, but in the case of this individual, they had wanted to sort of open something like a Whittimer's or a fruit stand that sold jams and peach pies and that sort of stuff, but encountered restrictions from the provincial government based on the Greenbelt, where they basically said, well, if you don't grow the strawberries or the peaches on the farm, you can't sell a strawberry or peach pie. And they kind of said you can only sell what you grow on the farm. And he said, well, nobody will buy a kale pie off of them. But so have you run into? I'm interested, and I think it's great to see the range of activities there. But I think there might be some limiting factors for some of these farms to participate in certain ways based on those restrictions, unless they've been loosened up. Have you come across that, or?
Through the chair, so I'll provide my knowledge from an economic development perspective, but perhaps my planning colleagues could provide the land use policy sort of standpoint on this. My understanding is the province and OMAFRA, the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, has released guidelines for prime agricultural areas. So I'm not sure how the Greenbelt plays into that, but if they're prime agriculture, then those guidelines apply. And when it comes to on-farm diversified uses, there's sort of a tool of 5 tests you have to sort of be able to meet in order to be considered on-farm diversified use. So I'm not sure if they specifically have to grow the products themselves, but they sort of need to support the local agricultural area.
Okay. Mr. Chair, it's getting a little far afield. I'll be happy to follow up with you. I'm kind of interested in that point. I do hope, as well as my colleague, that I'll be able to attend a number of the events. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks very much for your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move now on to 6.1 is Ivan Batty, Whitby resident, Airports in Durham. Mr. Batty, come up there so we can see you. Yeah, come up to the microphone, please. So Mr. Batty and I spoke beforehand, and he'd like to have this matter deferred to the February meeting so he can have some more discussions with the clerk about the attached documents. Is that correct, Mr. Batty?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, and Councillor Shahid, you've got a motion to that effect to defer it to February? Can I have? And the correspondence from Mr. Batty, both
Yes.
deferred to the February meeting. Can I have a seconder on that, please? Councillor Kerr, all in favor? Opposed? It's carried. So I assume the clerks will send you an email and get it all, go and see them, get it all sorted out, and we'll see you in February.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr.
Thank you,
Batty?
sir.
Thank you. Next, we have Jeff Carpenter, who's the chair of the Durham Environmental Advisory Committee on the 2022 annual report from the committee. It's online, I take it. So he's online. We'll get him sorted out here. You have to hit your mic button there, Jeff. If you can hear me, Jeff, you have to hit your microphone button. That was the next one. Okay, we've got a little bit of technical difficulty, so we'll move to the next one, which is Ron Lalonde, Chair of the Durham Active Transportation Committee on the 2022 annual report. And Mr. Lalonde is there. Hold on a minute, I have to do, just if you have a new system here, I get to turn people on and off on the microphone, by swiping over here, so. Morning, Mr. Lalonde. Can you hear me okay? No, okay. Okay, now.
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Can you
now
hear me?
we got your back. We got this tech stuff sorted out, I think. So when you're ready, go ahead, Mr. Lalonde. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Committee Chair Chapman, Regional Chair Henry, and councillors and staff. My name is Ron Lalonde, and I am the outgoing chair of the Durham Active Transportation Committee and represent the town of Whitby. I am here this morning to provide council a brief summary of the DAC's 2022 final annual report. Regarding the 2023 work plan in terms of reference, once new committee membership appointments are finalized and accepted, these reports will be presented to council for approval by early spring. 2022 in review. Over the last year, the committee continued its role to advise the region of Durham on matters related to active transportation across Durham. In addition to this, the committee also provided input on regional initiatives, received presentations, and engaged in discussions on a variety of exciting initiatives, including the Active Transportation School Travel Program planning in Durham region that aims to develop school travel safety plans for elementary schools throughout Durham, the Durham region's Smart Commute Program that endeavors to promote and encourage Durham residents to shift their travel behavior and consider alternative travel modes such as active transportation, carpooling and transit, and the finalized Ontario Traffic Manual Book 18 cycling guidelines, which provides cycling infrastructure design specifications to improve cycling safety and a complete street design perspective. Further to this, discussions included advocating for improved cycling safety on regional cycling routes and infrastructure in support of the regional cycling plan, commenting on future trail work and how to improve the overall trail system in Durham, and engaging on area municipal active transportation plans and projects, including those from the city of Oshawa. In closing, our DAC members have enjoyed our committee's experience over the last 4 years and truly appreciated the opportunity to provide feedback for consideration to staff and council on advancing active transportation across the region in partnership with local municipalities. Our outgoing members should be commended for the time and commitment they have invested over the last 4 years. The DAC committee would also like to thank Councillor Kerr and Councillor Lee for their involvement and support of the committee over the committee term. I would personally like to thank staff for their ongoing support, in particular Anthony Caruso, who served as our staff liaison in 2022, and Nella Persad, who assisted with the effective running of the meetings in accordance with regional protocols. Finally, I would like to thank the Planning and Economic Development Committee and Regional Council for their continued support of the Durham Active Transportation Committee. Mr. Chair, this completes my presentation. Thank you for the opportunity to present our annual report and open for questions if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Lalonde. First up, we have Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you to Mr. Lalonde. Thank you for your update this morning, Ron. I wonder if you would just give a very brief summary of the Meadoway and what the action plan is for the 2022-2026 timeframe that DAC will now be operating under. Just a kind of a shopping list. Yeah.
Thank you for that question, Councillor Kerr, and through you, Mr. Chair. The Meadoway is an exciting new program. It's just at the periphery at the end of our committee term. So they haven't presented yet to our committee, but I have attended a few of their meetings as a representative. It's an exciting corridor proposal running from the Rouge National Park, following what's referred to as the Gatineau Hydro Corridor, across northern Durham, ending at roughly Simcoe Street in Oshawa. The timeline is a 5 to 10 year program. They're in the process right now of rolling out public information sessions, which will be beginning in the next 2 weeks. And it's an exciting program, which I mentioned, a 5 to 10 year program. The next 4 years for DAC, we're looking forward. Committee members have not been finalized yet. Once the committee members are finalized, our first meeting is scheduled for roughly the first week of April. I hope that answers your questions, Councillor.
Yeah, it does. And the reason why I brought it up is I think each municipality which can connect to that proposed Meadoway path now has the opportunity to advance plan and perhaps link up multi-use paths, whatever, from their own municipalities, because the whole project is an exciting way to see Durham via two wheels instead of four. So thank you very much for your update this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Councillor Shahid?
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Uh, Ron, as I would refer to you on normal basis, it's really appreciate you coming out today and explaining all the amazing work that is being done. Just for a new counselor like myself, just an overview of the new projects that will be rolled out in 2023. If you can give me a little bit of an idea what we could be proud of. I know that there were some bike signals that were put on Taunton, Tixon, and we got a little bit of feedback from residents, but those feedbacks have died down, thank God. So I'm just wondering if there was anything new that is exciting and it's coming up in a very small nutshell, if that's okay, Chair.
Great question, Councillor Shahid, and thank you. Through you, Chair. Yes, there's been some exciting initiatives rolled out. We were very fortunate in March of 22 to have the works update provided by Merck's manager, Steve Kemp. And Mr. Kemp provided a huge update on leading pedestrian interval signals that were being put out. And those are, in short, brief 5-second interval lead for pedestrians at intersections. In addition to that, you mentioned the new bike signals that were put up. And that is a big step forward for the region. Many of you councillors may have noticed that across Taunton Road, running from Whitby across to Ajax, and also on Bailey Street. There's now paint markings on the road which indicate bike symbols on the intersection for cyclists to ride across, as well as bike signal heads. And this is a huge safety improvement because it legitimizes the right for cyclists to be able to use an intersection in a safe manner with the region providing support through these safety measures. Yes, there's been feedback, and feedback is not always positive because people don't always understand change. But change is happening in a big way, and it's in support of active transportation, which helps reduce climate initiatives as well by putting people in a mode of transportation other than a single vehicle use vehicle. Most commutes are less than 5 kilometers and can easily be done on a bike. Thank you for that question, Councillor Shahid. I hope I answered your questions.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I commend all the work that you have and your committee have done, and we're definitely seeing some amazing active transportation initiatives. I'm looking forward to see more. Thank you.
Thank you. Appears that it's the end of the questions, Ron. I'm not sure if you're coming back on the committee or not, but at any rate, on behalf of the committee and council, I'd like to thank you for the service on the committee this term of past term of council. And if you're coming back, that's great. We'll be happy to see you. And if not, then enjoy whatever endeavor you go to next. Thank you very much for your presentation today.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, I have applied, waiting for final outcome.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to go to live now. Zach Cahoon is the chair of the Durham Agriculture Advisory Committee, going to talk to us about the 2022 annual report. Good to see you in person, Zach.
Yes, good morning, all of you. I am Zach Cahoon. I am a farmer. I cannot see what the paper, but I can see you. My glasses will be in and out. Good morning, and I'm glad to be here to talk to you about DAC and agriculture in Durham region. I am a farmer. I farm north of Port Perry, between Port Perry and Sunderland, and we grow grain, corn, soybeans, wheat, oats, and hay. We also have ewes, which are female sheep. We have lambs. We are having lambs right now. We've had 10 on the ground in the last 48 hours. We will have, we only have 50 ewes, so hopefully we get 100 lambs in the next month, depending on how our ram did during the process of producing this thing 5 months ago. I am the current chair of the Durham Agriculture Advisory Committee, and I'm here to give you an overview of DAC's 2022 annual report. The role of DAC is to provide advice to the region on agriculture and rural-related planning matters. During 2022, DAC received presentations and engaged in discussions on OMAFRA's guidelines on permitted uses in Ontario's prime agricultural areas, the Agricultural Industry Roundtable and tour with the Ontario Minister of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs, TRCA's updated regional natural heritage system and water resource system mapping, the Agri-Food Business Development charges, the 2022 Durham Business Count, the Town of Whitby Climate Emergency Response Plan, Agricultural Economic Development and Planning Workshops, identification of areas meeting criteria for significant wildlife habitat in TRCA's jurisdiction, updates to regional roads and infrastructure projects, agricultural opportunities at the Port of Oshawa, Durham's Freight and Goods Movement Strategy, Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act, and Agri-Food Career Video Series. In 2022, DAC provided advice to the region on several issues, including the official plan amendment, applications to permit surplus farm dwelling severances in Uxbridge and Brock, official plan amendment applications related to an expansion of an aggregate license applications in Brock, rural economic development needs and opportunities, including farm succession planning, migrant worker information, and promotion of rural and economic initiatives. Potential for a local food logistics hub and innovation center, Durham Community Energy Plan Task Force, Growing Agri-Food Durham Plan, Priority Areas, and Envision Durham. Alternative land need scenarios assessments, draft natural heritage systems, and draft agricultural systems. DAC also participated in educational and outreach initiatives, including our main event, hosting our first annual farm tour that was in person after 2 years. We had it at a Sargent Family Dairy Farm in Enniskillen. Here is a prime example of how agriculture and on-farm diversified uses is a success story and something in Durham region that should be extremely proud of what they've done to allow this to happen, as well as its world-renowned vision and how this family has moved from their family dairy business up to include the next generation and make business opportunities to keep this family running into the future. The themes of the tour was multi-generational family farming in Durham region, and a variety of topics were covered, including raising of the Jersey cows, producing milk, animal nutrition, crop production, soil quality and nutrition, the on-farm dairy processing and marketing and selling of products. This is a totally from sunlight to bottle business. And it is a shining star, one of the many shining stars in the region. We had over 100 participants representing municipal and provincial governments, public agencies, including conservation authorities, school boards, post-secondary institutions, municipal advisory economic development committees, the financial and insurance industry, the agricultural community, and media attended the event. And the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. DAC is very proud of all the committee accomplishments in 2022. Councillor Hyatt also provided a lot of support for the committee over the past year, and the committee thanks him for his time on the committee. Finally, I would like to thank Planning Economic Development Committee, the Regional Council for their continued support of DAC. And just before I conclude, a few things that I would like to talk to you about in agriculture. Agriculture is a business. It is one of the largest businesses in Durham region, and we are under some stress from market issues as well as political issues. So when you're talking to your higher parts in provincial and federal governments, the carbon tax is no good for business, no good for agricultural business at all. We produce tons of raw materials at wholesale and we buy all our inputs at retail. The only business model in the world that kind of works that way. And we need your help in that. The other thing is, last year, because of political aspirations, we paid about 35 cents on every dollar of fertilizer we spent in tariffs. And that material was landed on the ground in country, and the tariffs were put on after. That is not fair. And that hurts every farmer's and everybody's bottom line directly. That's like you people going out and buying a car, bringing it home, and then getting another bill because they thought that the tires were bad and needed to change the tires. Not fair. And through you is how I would like to communicate to the hires up, because you talk to these people constantly. And we would like your help at DAC, and the whole agricultural community in Durham Region would like your help in that. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Zach. We have a couple questions. Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Chair. And through you to Zach, as always, a great presentation. And I appreciate your frankness on your last comments as well. I'm not sure how much I can do as one councillor in Oshawa, but you have my support.
Every voice counts.
Yep, you have my support. I don't know whether you know it or not, but all my in-laws are dairy farmers and crop farmers up around Fort Perry. So
yeah,
it's pretty deep. I just had one question. Last term of council, I brought this idea up to Mayor Barton about the whole idea of an innovation hub, kind of like the Spark Center for Business. I wanted to see one for agriculture. So I'm very curious and very keen. How's the discussion going, and where might you be able to situate something like that?
So Farm Connections has been working on and the Durham Region Federation of Agriculture has been working on a hub of innovation in education for probably about 5 or 6 years. We have gone through some processes. We have got some grants for consultant work. Truly, we need a champion. We need a champion with a big checkbook, and we need a champion to push the project forward. I think there is fantastic opportunities for agriculture and business incubation and education in the region. And right now, with the climate due to the pandemic issues, it's kind of slowed down. But I think there's opportunity in the region to build such a thing. And I think what we're missing really is cash flow and real estate.
Thank you. I think I've heard the regional chair say that the agricultural sector is something like 33 to 36% of the economy of Durham Region. When you consider 80% of the region is greenbelt and a huge chunk of that is farmland, I think we have an optimal situation here. And the other thing is, just based on my own family, I think we have extremely innovative farmers in Durham, and I think this would be a great place to have it. So good luck with that. I don't know what I can do to help, but
7 to 1 about. For every dollar agriculture invests in the economy, $7 is spun off.
Thank you. Well, what I can do, you have my support. And thanks for your presentation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Kerr. Councillor Shahid.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Mr. Cahoon, I really do appreciate you coming out and speaking about a lot of stuff that we hear and read about. I know that I don't want to get political here, but I do talk about inflation and food insecurity. I'm coming to the question, Chair. The fact of the matter is, you said 35% more is added onto your cost when you're producing within Ontario.
Yep.
So I deal with a lot of food banks, help them out as much as I can, not trying to be a good person here, but just telling you my perspective here of the fact that there's food insecurity. People are coming to food banks, not able to get nutritional food because it's expensive. I just want to know, if I want to be going and working hard towards raising your concern here and be an ally, what else can I do? I know that Councillor Kerr had also shed some light on it, but this is something of a concern now, and we continuously put an X on our foot with, I don't want to say a few words that would really alarm a few other people, but I just want to know how we can raise this question and help not only yourself, but the end users of making sure that we are eating local in an affordable manner.
Yeah, so I guess there's perspective that we need to talk about here. So I grow myself 350 acres of soft red winter wheat, which basically in Ontario makes Kraft Dinner. This year we had a fantastic yielding year. We basically sold that wheat wholesale out to a processor. I averaged $350 a ton. Okay, that's gross average. So 1 ton of wheat, metric ton of wheat, produces probably close to 800 kilograms of flour that we make into Kraft Dinner. How many grams is in a Kraft Dinner box? 200?
So, more or less.
200? Let's do some math. Like 200 grams, right? And so, and a box of Kraft Dinner for easy math is $5.
A small box.
A small box? I don't know. Yeah, I don't buy
$1
groceries,
if
but
you
anyway.
find it at No Frills on
Yeah,
sale.
yeah. So that's $15 per kilogram,
Hmm.
correct?
I guess my
Yeah.
maths is horrible. Sorry.
Yeah, 3 boxes, well, 210. So that's 5, that's $25 a kilogram, right?
Mm.
Times 800.
Wow.
So I'm sorry that agriculture produces this really cheap raw material and we don't get the whole cut of the system. The transportation, the further processing, the middlemen, the marketers are all taking a cut. And agriculture is not the villain here. We produce the cheapest food supply in the world. We are the most efficient at it. People from all over the world come to learn how Canadians do their work because we can do it cheaper than anybody else. But we're not getting the full cost or the full remuneration from a further processed package. There was once said that on Tiger Woods got paid $1 for putting his picture on a Kellogg's Cornflakes box, and there was 7 cents of corn in it.
Oh. Thank you. Through you, Chair, my last comment is a Kraft Dinner is one of the stapled thing that the food banks ask for.
And Ontario grows probably 90% of the wheat in Ontario goes to make Kraft Dinner either in Mississauga or in Toledo, Ohio, and they set the marketplace for the North American wheat market.
Wow. That's
They actually have special trucks built to go from Ontario with wheat to Toledo, Ohio, so that they can carry Ontario weights. We have special haul routes to do that.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I will rest, but I would just leave this comment. Thank you so much for what you do. And I really do appreciate you coming out today and giving us more perspective.
No problems.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Chair Henry.
Good morning, Zach, and thank you for being here this morning. And I was absolutely shocked when a family member sat down with me last year to explain the tariff, the 35% on fertilizer, and was shocked.
You're shocked.
Shocked. And we talked about how that impacted what he did, his family, a farm. But the public's not aware of what that tariff has done to the cost of food in this country.
No,
and
not at all.
So that tariff of 35%, and we hear about the increase of costs of bread, upwards of 33%, and the public doesn't understand the difference. Now, if I understand the rationale for the tariff, they wanted to make.
I understand that, but you can't tariff something that's already in country.
So, did you get that 35% back as a credit?
No.
So, where did the money go?
Good question. We have had lobbyists working from Grain Farmers in Ontario and Durham, or in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food, and all kinds of people, but they don't know where the money went.
So the cost related to the increased cost of foods in the grocery store, the public has never been told how the two pieces meet. Now, I bring it up when I'm out and I talk about costs as it relates to things, but the general public doesn't know. How can we help get that message out that this tariff should have come back in the form of some kind of credit back to the farmers?
For sure, it is a costly adventure. The fertilizer companies actually made it a separate line item on all the invoicing, so we know exactly what it was per load of fertilizer that we bought, and hoping that we would be able to get remuneration or back for it. It has basically been stonewalled at every government meeting or any meeting that they do not want to talk about it. They don't want to have any. They don't want to know. They don't want to discuss any of the eventual issues at all with that part of the process. They've basically taken our money, and we've had to pay it. And this was for products that was actually, some of it was bought and paid for and sitting in storage. And then they had to pay an extra 35% on the volume. That's unfair. If I went and didn't pre-buy my material and I had to buy on the marketplace on stuff that's coming in now, I understand the tariff issue, no problems. But it's not fair that someone bought, paid for, and had material in storage and then had to pay extra money for it. That is unfair. And that is not Canadian, in my opinion, at all. And we look at the process that is going on here with all of the legislation and environmental issues. Canadian farmers are the most environmentally friendly group you can meet. We have reduced our fertilizer emissions by at least 30%. Right now, in my own business, I'm burning the same amount of fuel planting 1,700 acres as I did when we planted 500.
So
it's just it's the size of scale and efficiency that we look at Canadian agriculture. We're really good at what we do. And like I said, we buy all our inputs at retail and sell all our commodities at wholesale. So we have to be better and more efficient.
So, Mr. Chair, a follow-up question? So I just want to come back to carbon credits. So farmers are the most amazing stewards of their lands. Do you get any credits for your woodlots or your significant wetlands on your property in compensation for what you grow or for the carbon capture of the crops that you grow?
So in my opinion, and I can't give you exact numbers, there is programs for environmentally protected or environmentally sensitive woodlands lots to reduce your taxable input on them. They come with some stipulations. I don't know exactly what they are, but I understand there is programs for that. There's also green space programs and planting tree programs. The problem with the carbon tax and the carbon sequestering system in agriculture is no one has found a really good way of quality or quantitatively measuring the amount of carbon that agriculture takes out or puts into the environment. And we know that we grow grains, oilseeds, trees, pastures, and they take carbon dioxide, fracture it, and produce water, vapor, and oxygen, as well as starch and through photosynthesis. We know this. We know that a field of corn will consume more carbon dioxide per day than an acre of boreal forest. We know that. We do know that. We do know that ecological goods and services in the world of agriculture is not a remunerable process as far as government is concerned. So ecological goods or services are carbon sequestering through the acts of minimum tillage or crop rotations and planting of marginal lands with trees or pasturing. And the other incredible and very interesting thing is land improvements, tile drainage. Tile drainage immensely increases the ability for a piece of land or dirt to live. How long can you live without food? Months? You could probably, like hunger strikes are months, right? You could probably live without water for a week. How long can you live without air? Minutes. And when we manage the soil and the water content from the soil, we put air into it, and the microbes and the fungi and the plants can grow, and it works in a benefit to the system, the whole environmental system.
Mr. Chair, follow-up question. So, governments talk about red tape review to improve. I'm going to use an example of the building of homes.
Mm-hmm.
Should there be a red tape review on the amount of paperwork that you as a farmer fills out, and how much time it takes you to do what the government is asking for? Some of it is valued, and some of it just takes up your time.
I guess, John, I don't like red tape at all. I don't like paperwork. I don't enjoy the bureaucracy that goes through it. I think that it would be fantastic that we could streamline the process. I think it would be fantastic that we didn't have to be guilty until proven innocent. And I feel sometimes with some of these applications for building or improving land or building new agricultural livestock buildings, you are guilty until you can prove yourself innocent as far as mitigating your risk to the environment through manure storage or runoff. And I find it kind of a double-edged sword when we look at a town or a city that hard tops 80% of their real estate and then has a flooding problem. Red tape is a issue, yes. Anywhere in the world of government, as far as I'm concerned, if we can streamline and make application processes easier and less time consuming for the farmers. And we look at now, farmers are very well educated, and their young families that are growing up are extremely well educated. And part of the greatest part of on-farm diversified uses is we are getting these younger generation peoples that need jobs and need focus, and these are fantastic operations for them because they allow the original farm matriarchs and patriarchs to do their work, and they allow a living to be made for the next generation. And the key is a living to be made. Farming, it can be and is a business, and it should be profitable. And if we make and we support agriculture and make it profitable, we'll have a vibrant agricultural system.
Those are my questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I have Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Chair. It's probably 20 years ago when maybe things were different, maybe even worse. I remember the old joke about the farmer who won the lottery, and they asked him what was he going to do with the money. He says, "I'll just keep farming until she's all gone."
That's what I said. How do you make $1 million farming? Start with 5.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you whether I went to a terrific presentation at the Regent Theatre in Oshawa about 5 months ago, and I think Simon and his staff put it together with Cloca, and it featured the movie Kiss the Ground, and I just wonder whether you've seen that.
No, I haven't.
I would really encourage you to watch it. It's about innovative farming techniques,
Yeah.
and I would be very interested to hear your views on it from a Canadian perspective once you have viewed it. So I'll just lay that out there to you, and if you do get a chance, it's Woody Harrelson is the spokesperson.
Yep.
He's pretty passionate about it, and it's a very eye-opening video in terms of what innovative farming can do for the soil, in terms of carbon capture, what that can mean for the environment in terms of sequestering CO2. And of course, all the talk is about rising CO2 levels in the atmosphere. Well, with these innovative techniques, you can put a lot of that back into the soil. So I'd be very interested in your views once
For
you see
sure.
it.
No problems.
All right. Thank you. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That explains it. So thanks for coming in person, Zach. It's nice to see
No
you.
problem. I do much prefer in person so I can see and talk and read the body language. It's fantastic. I'm unfortunately Jeff Carpenter is going to have to follow me again. I see you tried to get ahead of me.
Yeah,
this
we're
year,
still
but-
trying to
but
connect with him.
technologically that didn't work. He's been concerned over the last few delegations that we've done that he's always had to follow me.
But thanks for coming today, and thanks
Thank you very much for
your
your
work on
support.
your work
And
on
if you
the
do
committee.
have any questions, and please come out if you have time to come out to our DAC meetings. We are there to educate and inform, and we are there to help you make informed decisions about agricultural issues in the region.
And I hope you hit your 100.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like we've got Jeff here. Jeff, can you hear me? Jeff? Oh, he disappeared. Okay, the clerks will keep trying to get this connection. We'll move on, and we can come to Jeff at any time that they get him. Okay, so we'll move down to Planning 7.1B. It's correspondence from the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority, recruitment of a municipal representatives on Regional Watershed Alliance. Just so you know, the last term, Councillor Pickles was on that committee representing the region, and he's prepared to sit again. I had the commissioner talk to the TRCA about having a staff member also on there, and we have a staff member, Amanda Bath, that we would like to make as the alternate. So if I could have a motion to appoint Councillor Pickles as the rep and Amanda Bath as the alternate. Councillor Shahid, seconded by Councillor Kerr. He told me earlier he was okay with that. So all in favor? Opposed? Yeah, it's like you want to be the chair of something, don't show up at the meeting. Right, yeah. Okay, we are on to try Jeff again. Hello, Jeff. Are you there? Come in, Jeff. Oh, fell off again. Whoop, whoop. I have a screen here, just so you know. The chairs have a screen now that lists the speakers, and I have to actually touch a button to move you across to turn your microphone on. So it comes up green here. Jeff comes up. I hit the button, comes over, and then he disappears. So I'm not sure what's going on at our end or Jeff's end, but we'll hopefully get to hear Jeff before the meeting's over. Okay, 7.2 A and B, we have two reports there. Can I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Kerr, seconded by Councillor Shahid. Any pulls? All in favor? Opposed? They are carried. We have economic development, one report. Can I have a mover? Councillor Pickles, seconded by Councillor Kerr. By the way, you were appointed to the Watershed Alliance while you're out of the room. Okay.
Sorry, I tried to catch Zach before he left, and
That's
I
okay.
should have stuck around for
I
another
just want
second.
you to realize that you can't turn it down now.
but
You're
I'm
on the
happy to
committee.
stand,
Everything's
Mr.
good.
Chair.
Okay.
Thank you. But I did get a chance to speak to Zach about
Okay.
kale pies. Thank you.
Good. So we have Councillor Pickles moving, Councillor Kerr seconding the report on gates open. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. We haven't got Jeff. No. Are there any? There's no advisory committee resolutions or confidential matters. Any other business? Chair. Hold on, I have to touch your. There we go.
Maybe if you would accept, I'll just refer Jeff's presentation to the next meeting.
Sure. Okay, so a motion to defer Jeff, the Environmental Advisory Committee presentation to the next meeting, which is 7th of February, seconded by Councillor Kerr, and that will, the clerks will reach out to him. That'll be also dependent on his availability to present. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. There's no other business. Councillor Kerr? I have to hit you.
Motion
Sorry.
to adjourn.
Sorry?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councillor Kerr, seconded by Councillor Neal. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. We'll see you next week, I guess, at is it next week, the Committee of the Whole? Yep. Have a good day, folks. Thanks.